we are going to open Excel. And let's say we have the following information. In the year 1000, we had a population of 310 million people, and in the year 2000 we had 6 billion people. And we would like to know what would the population size be in 2050. So let's make a chart first, or a graph, on this information. And if you want a chart on this, you do not have to highlight the total table. You just click anywhere in the table, unless you want parts of the table plotted in a chart. Which chart do you choose? I would recommend that you do not use a line or a column chart. And you probably see why when you look at the horizontal axis. It takes every category as a category. So 1000 years have the same distance as 25 years way to the right. So a line chart is not a good option. So I'm going to escape that option. In this case, you definitely need an X, Y, or a scatter chart. You have a choice. I'm going to choose the one that works with a smooth line between the data points. I'm deleting the label, the title, and you see that the population is growing almost exponentially. We would like to know what the population would be in the year 2050. I fixed the chart a little bit so it looks better. And I would like to focus on this kind of extrapolation. What would be the observation point in 2050? We aren't there yet, we haven't observed it yet, but we can extrapolate. It would be somewhere here. So we need somehow a tool that creates a straight line from the last two observation points on upwards. The function that does that is called trend in Excel. It's a very powerful function that allows you to do linear trend lines. If it's non-linear, we will discuss that in the CD and in the book, not in this video. It asks you what are the new axes that you want to predict. 2050. So what are the known axes? Always take the closest two observation points to your extrapolation point and find the corresponding population sizes. And as you can see already, it is 10 billion estimated, predicted, projected based on that function. This chart automatically adjusted. If it doesn't automatically adjust, like in this situation, all you have to do is click on that series of values and notice that in the left it highlights what part of the data source is included. We are going to expand that data source by one row, and there is our new observation point. Let's pretend we would like to do extrapolation for the year 2013. It is extrapolation from 1975 to 2000. It would be interpolation between 2000 and 2050. I'm not going to do interpolation because 2050 is already a guessed value. So I will still use interpolation, but you could have used extrapolation. And finally, we want it to look like this. We need an insert here that shows us where those data points are. In order to create that insert, we need three sets of coordinates. 0 on the x-axis and something like 7 billion on the y-axis. 0, 7 billion. This point would be 2013, 7 billion, and the last point would be 2013, 0 on the y-axis. How do we get these values? We are going to interpolate. let's say this is the year we want to predict, to project. You can type whatever you want in there. I typed 2013. I made a link to this cell. This cell has a link to A12. That cell has a link to A12. We know where the zeros come from, depending on where the origin of your y and x axis is. So now we have to find those 2 points. You probably feel it coming. That's a matter of using trend again. So we are going to use the trend function. We know now the tricks. What is the new x? 2013. The known x, that is a decision we have to make. As I told you, I would go for 1975 and 2000, not 2000 and 2050. But again, I would consider this safer and more logical. And the world population would be 7 billion something. To create the other coordinates, I'm just going to make a link to that cell, and these are the values we find. All we have to do now is insert them into the chart. How would we do that? We are going to talk to the chart and say there is one series of values there, but we would like to add another series of values based on these 3 sets of coordinates. We right click in the background, select the data behind the graph. There is already one series of values. We are going to add another one. We don't give it a name. You could if you want to. And where are your x values? A15 through A17. Your y values, B15 through B17. And there is your insert. If that insert came out differently, that is just a matter of chart type. So if I would right click on that series of values, I could change the chart type for that series 2 to, let's say, a scatter chart with rounded things, and you will see that that's what it's going to look like. So you have to make sure that it's not a smooth line. So I'm going to cancel what I was changing, and so we ended up with a very clear insert. One more issue: it is obvious that the number you type in A12 is changeable. If I want to find this for the year 2030, your insert will obviously adjust. And if I would do that for 2050, I should get the same results as we had gotten here. 10 billion, 140 million people. So we have a very flexible kind of insert. Where can you find all of